guys, this is Letitia, aka LR Star, and I'm here to read for you today. I'm going to be reading from my first ever debut novel called CheckMate. Ooh. And this is part of my Sarah Clemens mystery series where I've got 3 books. If you like crime, passion, twists and turns, romance, suspense, then this is a good read for you. In this scene, Sarah, my PI, is at a party undercover, so she can find out the motives of the suspect. And she's been given entry into the party because she has come under the guise of creative assistant to a Vogue supermodel who happens to be the wife of the suspect. Back to the party. Robert leaned in the doorway frame as we came around the corner from his office. Had he followed us up here to keep an eye? He threw us a curious look. Well, what do we have here? Ivana wobbled, gesturing with her right hand in a weird way, just giving Sarah the grand tour. She came across as nervous. Might be the drugs in her system, but still, mental note. Robert's mouth grinned at me, but his blue eyes said something else. I see. Behind those words, I read a warning sign. And what do you think? Robert shuffled a few things around his desk in passive anger. He wasn't happy that we were in his office. I saw his jawline set. The palpable tension floated around the room. I grabbed my neck and kneaded out the tension. Something about this guy truly left me unbalanced. Like a flashing neon 70s sign in fluoro pink. Danger, danger, run for your life. At the same time, I felt a strange sensation of excitement snaking around the pit of my stomach. You seem to really like your mahogany. I cleared my throat hesitantly. He smirked. Yeah, that's what happens when you're from an old money world. You inherit into greatness. Big shoes to fill, but I think I managed pretty well. Marking his territory, letting me know who's boss. You might have money, but you don't have sense. I gave him the once over. Robert, darling, where were you headed? Ivana changed the subject. I'm here to collect some documents. You're not working during the party, are you? You're a party people skipper. She held up a long finger towards him, touching his nose. Seemed like a gesture to subdue Robert. Robert frowned momentarily as if irked by Ivana's statement. I thought you came from old money. I threw in my 2 cents. Touché. Still, I have to maintain the legacy, right? Besides, my guests are thoroughly entertained, that's for sure. They don't need me for that. I've got a deal to close. Now is the time to get the papers signed. While we're all shit-faced. Parker has been sitting on this deal for months. Who knew all it took was a couple of chicks to keep him happy? I hid my shock at his goal. More reveals. I didn't expect Robert to be so open about his business dealings. Maybe he wasn't saying anything at all. But I might pick up the conversation. I would soon find out how good Hawk's spyware was. The information Robert carelessly released might prove useful to building a case around. Not that I could use it, but it might be enough to find some other minor legal angle. Keep him talking, Sarah. I guess so. Is this where you do a lot of your business, or do you have a downtown office? I knew the answer, but I wanted to see how he would respond. You're asking a lot of questions tonight, Miss Sarah. An inquisitive one, huh? He toyed with the paperweight on his desk. Just interested, wondering. I shrugged my shoulders like it was no big deal. My heart sped up when I saw him pick up the paperweight. Put it down, please. I split my time between here and LA. I have clients in Hollywood. Some of them are downstairs at the party. You might have noticed. I own a penthouse downtown too. His eyes penetrated mine. I held his intrusive gaze this time. I wasn't backing down. You seem to live an interesting life. You don't know the half of it. I'm sure I will be seeing more of you since you're working so closely with Ivana. The hidden invite right under his wife's nose. Cool heads prevail, so they say. and that's just how I kept it. Ivana watched on with translucent eyes, sipping her champagne. Numbness circulated through them. I pushed the envelope with Elliot a little further. Surely you're not signing a contract tonight. I mirrored Ivana's sentiments. Oh, so innocent, Miss Vogue. Surely you know how to mix business with pleasure, no? His eyes darkened. There he went again, undressing me with his wintry baby blues. I was shirking under duress. Mayday, mayday. That cocky smile lifted the corners of his mouth. Up again at my jitters. I stood awkwardly in the middle of the conversation. I shifted my gaze to Ivana. She caught on to Robert's flirt game. He suddenly grabbed her tiny waist and planted a saucy tongue kiss on it in front of me. The creepiest thing about it was Elliot looked straight at me when he did it. Won't be long, babe. Show your little friend Sarah the kick-ass fountain that's out back. Good idea, Ivana replied meekly. Elliot had tranquilized her. We'll see you ladies in a bit, Judy calls. Robert shot her a brazen smile as he entered the heavy mahogany doors of his office and shut them behind him. Ivana whispered, okay, let's go. Robert doesn't like anyone snooping around in his office. At least I would have surveillance to play back from tonight. I could chop it up with Hawk tomorrow for a breakdown. Meanwhile, I planned to do everything I could so I could tease more intel from Ivana. Back through the circus, down the stairs to the patio. More moaning, reverberating from the rooms down the hall. What is going on down there? I hissed to Ivana. She lifted her heavily arched eyebrows at me. What's going on? Something you couldn't handle. She put a finger underneath my chin and giggled. I had an inkling, and that just cemented it. Ivana opened the magnificent glass doors. They gave way to the view of a supersized pool, smack bang in the middle of a fountain. The lives of the rich and famous. He said a fountain, but in the middle of the pool? You have got to be kidding me. Only the Elliots. The fountain had lighting streaming through it, which switched to different rhythms when the colour changed. Wading pools were on either side of the fountain and blocked off into square sections, a very elaborate Mayan-style get-up. Small huts of shelter surrounded the pools with umbrellas ready to be opened for frolicking in the sun. All you needed was a cabana boy to bring you cocktails and the dream would be complete. Who needed to go to Cabo if you had this? I watched Ivana sit on that water's edge. She hitched her Grecan-style dress and jumped in the pool. Glad you don't mind about your dress, I sang out sarcastically. Ivana let out a drunken laugh. This old thing. Don't you like to get a little wild, Sarah? I've got plenty of them. Plus designers give me shit all the time. And why wouldn't they? Even in their drunken stupor, her goddess features were evident, stunning. The strobe lights from the fountain hit the golden highlights of her hair just right. It reminded me of the legend about the lady emerging from the Trevi fountain. I'll skip the pool tonight. Plus, my response is dress back. Ha! Let me tell you how many dresses have gone missing since I started working at that office, Ivana counting on her fingers and holding them up. This supermodel is also a super brat. What the hell? Oh no, not all mine, honey. Other Vogue assistants. What do you think they work there for? The clothes and deflects to their friends. You'll learn. Oh no, I won't. I plan to get this case solved and get on with my life. Without warning, an odd sense of heat overcame me, forcing me to peer up. Sure enough, Mr. Playboy had his heavy-duty velvet curtains pulled back. He was watching from the upstairs window. His gaze held a dark heaviness. A weird sensation flooded in my stomach. Did he suspect? Was he wondering why we were in his office? I didn't know whether to throw him away or ignore him. He wasn't smiling. His overbearing stare began to bother me. Ivana captured me where my eye was taking me. He's watching, isn't he? She heaved herself out of the pool. Come on, let's go back to the party. Her gown was heavy from the weight of the water. Her dress clung to her like one of those girls from the wet t-shirt contest. My presence was done for the night. I had what I needed for right now. If I stayed any longer, shit would go down. Time to go.